Welcome back to Mimi's Organic Eats. Today we're making my eggless strawberry honey galette. And now if you guys don't know what a galette is, it's basically like a lazy girl pie. That's what one of my baker friends called it one time, and I think it's the perfect description of it. It's basically just a pie with no pie dish. And because we're not using any pie dish and it's baked right on a baking sheet, it actually gives you a more crispy and buttery, flaky crust, in my opinion. And so I love galettes. So today we're making this strawberry honey galette, and I'm using fresh strawberries that I have from my farm box. And this pie is also naturally eggless. So no eggs needed. Grab your fresh berries from the farmer's market. Let me show you how to make it. So the first step in making this strawberry galette is making the pie crust. And so I have 127 grams of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of cane sugar in my stand mixer. And now I'm using my stand mixer because I think it's so much faster, because that's probably the bakery owner in me, because making pie dough in your mixer is gonna be faster than making it by hand. If you guys wanna do it by hand, it's totally okay too. I have a much more in-depth pie crust tutorial that I'll link below. If you guys are new to making pie crust, make sure to check that out. So you can do this in your stand mixer or you can do it by hand. Either way is fine. So next we're gonna chop our butter, and I have 113 grams of salted butter, and you wanna make sure that it's cold straight from the fridge. The name of the game for pie crust is always the coldest butter possible. So we're just gonna chop this into small cubes. And I like to chop the butter stick in half, and then either in half or in thirds from there. That'll give you about the right size. So once we add the butter into the mixing bowl, we're gonna get a 1/4 cup of cold water, and we just wanna have this ready. Now I'm just gonna mix on low until the mixture looks like wet sand. And what that means is you just want the flour to coat the butter so you don't see any visible pieces of butter. As soon as that happens, then we're just gonna add in all of the cold water at one time and mix until a shaggy dough forms. And you don't wanna overmix your pie crust ever, so you can finish it by hand if you see a couple bits that need to get mixed in, but don't overmix it if you're using the mixer. And as you can see, we have like some bits of butter here, a little bit of dryness on the bottom. That's okay, we're just gonna finish this by hand. So you guys wanna have a piece of plastic wrap ready. Now we're just gonna finish this pie dough with our hands and kind of mix in those dry bits and mix in some of those butter chunks. Now, if you guys see a few butter chunks, that's totally okay. That's great for pie dough. We want a little bit of that. We just don't want any really dry bits of flour. So once you have all the flour combined, your pie dough should look like this. Then make sure you form this into a disc and kind of just flatten it out. This is gonna help you roll it out later because it's gonna be less work. Plus, the thinner you make it right now, the faster it'll chill in the fridge. Then we just wanna make sure that you wrap this up tightly in plastic wrap. We don't want this to dry out in the fridge. Now this is ready to sit in the fridge. It needs to chill for at least 4 hours, or even overnight is totally fine. So once the pie crust is ready to roll out, you want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And so make sure to have your strawberries washed, and we're going to slice these first. So I have 340 grams of fresh strawberries. That's also going to be 12 ounces. And so you guys can use fresh or frozen fruit for this pie. I'm using fresh today, and either one works. But if you're using frozen, you just want to make sure that you thaw the strawberries in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours. Then you want to strain off all that extra liquid, because you're going to have a lot of extra liquid with those frozen strawberries. Then they're going to be ready to use. So we're using fresh strawberries today, so I'm just going to destem these. And then you just want to cut them into small slices. Once we have our strawberries all cut, then it's time to start mixing up the rest of the filling. So I have 57 grams of cane sugar and 43 grams of raw honey in this mixing bowl. Next, I'm gonna add in 21 grams of all-purpose flour. And next, we're adding in 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. And now cornstarch is super crucial for any fruit pie filling because it's going to help bind those fruit juices together and solidify the fruit juices in the oven as they cook. This is going to prevent your pie from having a soggy bottom and from all the juices just running out of the pie as soon as it's cut. So I really like using cornstarch in pie. The combination of cornstarch and a little bit of flour is going to give you a perfect pie. And so if you guys are avoiding corn or you don't want to use cornstarch, you could use tapioca starch, you could use potato starch, you could even use arrowroot starch too. And then next we're going to add in half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And then next we're going to add our strawberries into the filling mixture. And then you want to just mix this up and coat the strawberries completely. So go ahead and set your filling aside, and now we're going to make the pie wash. So now we're going to make the honey pie wash, and all this is equal parts of honey and water. And this is my absolute favorite pie wash. I never use eggs for pie anymore. So this recipe is also in my book, Eggless Baking, where I give you tons of other ideas of what to use for pie wash besides eggs. And this is when I originally created this pie wash recipe when I was writing that book. And it has by far become my favorite pie wash of all of that. So I'm just gonna add 1 tablespoon of honey and 1 tablespoon of water to this small dish right here. So now I'm gonna microwave this for just about 20 seconds, just enough to melt the honey. We just want the honey to be melted so that it can combine with the water, because right now it's a different consistency and so it won't combine with the water, which is why we need to throw it in the microwave. So now we can just set this aside until it's ready to brush onto our pie. So this pie wash, you guys, is gonna create a golden brown pie crust. It is by far the best thing if you like that really golden brown pie crust, which is why it's one of my favorites. And it also gives us just the perfect amount of sweetness. So make sure you guys have a half sheet pan that's lined with parchment paper, and we're gonna set this aside. Now it's time to roll out the pie crust. We're just gonna add a little bit of flour on top here. And now we're just gonna roll this out till it's about a 1/4 inch thick. And it helps to move your pie crust about 45 degrees every time you kind of change positions. This is gonna help you get a nice even roll when you're rolling out pie dough. If you notice it's sticking a little bit on the bottom, just flip it over, give it a little bit more flour, and you're gonna be good to go. Now the thing I love about galettes is they're so freeform and they're so easy. So this does not have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. We just wanna get it all the right thickness. And you just wanna have it all even thickness, that way it bakes up and crisps up evenly and really well. And now it's ready to transfer to our baking sheet. So now we're gonna add our strawberry filling right into the middle of the dough. We wanna leave about a 1-inch border all the way around. This is gonna allow us to fold that dough in to create our crust. And this part is totally rustic too. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a perfect circle. Just get it spread out and leave a little bit of a border. Now to create the galette crust, all we're going to do is fold over this excess dough into the middle of the pie. Now it's time to brush on our mixture of honey and water all onto the crust. And now the last step before we bake this pie is adding some turbinado sugar on top of the crust. You just want to sprinkle this all on the crust. This is what's going to give this galette a super sparkly finish. It's also going to give it the perfect texture when you guys bite into that crust. I am obsessed with putting turbinado sugar on top of pie crust. And if you guys don't know what turbinado sugar is, it's basically raw sugar where it hasn't been processed as much, so the granulars are very thick and they're very big. And so they're not gonna dissolve in the oven like it would if you put cane sugar on top of this pie. So if you guys wanna pick up some of this turbinado sugar, it's perfect for topping pie crust. It's also really good on shortbread cookies because it doesn't bake into the dough or the cookies in the oven while they're baking. Now we're gonna bake this at 400 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes or until the crust is golden brown to your liking. Now we have a beautiful eggless strawberry honey galette. Now it's time to serve this up with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and leave a comment below. And if you want more eggless pie recipes just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join me next time in the kitchen.